Think back to the end of high school. We sat in circles, passing around yearbooks, writing "Best Friends Forever" inside the front covers. We are taught from a very young age that a true connection is permanent, that people who truly care about you will never leave, change, or drift away. The average person makes 29 real friends over their life. As time passes, only 6 go the distance. Sociologist Gerald Mollenhorst tracked thousands of people, uncovering a strict halving effect. We lose half of our close friends every 7 years. These connections rarely end with a loud argument. Most friendships end in complete silence. The replies get slower, the effort to make plans drops. You start to feel a strange distance while sitting right next to someone, until eventually there is nothing left to say. When that happens, our first instinct is guilt. We ask ourselves if we did something wrong, or if we are somehow failing at keeping people around. But you are not failing. Human beings are social animals, and our relationships operate on ingrained evolutionary rules. The silent fade of a friendship is a biological feature functioning exactly as it was designed to. Friendships need an incubator. Psychologists call this the proximity effect. When you share an environment, like a school hallway, a dorm, or a corporate office, your brain wires itself to feel deeply comfortable with the familiar faces you physically interact with every day. It takes a staggering amount of time to cement those bonds. Researchers at the University of Kansas found that it requires over 200 hours of shared time to build a genuinely close friendship. That kind of time investment is usually only possible because your environment forces you together. Then you graduate, or you switch jobs, or move to a new city. The shared geography that artificially inflated your bond is suddenly gone. Modern life pushes us further apart. We move into sprawling suburban developments that prioritize privacy over community. We rely on cars instead of walking, and we lose those organic, spontaneous encounters that keep relationships alive. Without that physical proximity acting as a built-in maintenance system, the connection weakens. Keeping in touch now requires active scheduling, calendar invites, and deliberate effort. We also face a hard neurological limit on how many people we can care about. In the 1990s, an anthropologist at Oxford named Robin Dunbar studied primate brain size and discovered a biological ceiling on human connection. This diagram illustrates what is now known as Dunbar's number. Your neocortex, the part of the brain that manages social processing, can only maintain about 150 stable relationships at any given time. And within that, there is a tiny, exclusive inner circle of just 5 close confidants. Because your cognitive bandwidth is strictly capped, your social life operates on a strict one-in, one-out system. When you start a new job or enter a new relationship, that new person requires emotional space. To make room, an older connection is biologically pushed out toward the periphery. Social media masks this reality. It tricks our brains into thinking we are connected to hundreds of people through likes and passive scrolling. But scrolling is not intimacy. We are currently experiencing a nationwide friendship recession, a steep decline in actual, deep social connections. The consequences are severe. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy recently declared widespread loneliness a formal public health crisis, noting that severe social isolation carries mortality risks equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Your brain is constantly fighting this isolation by triaging your relationships. It prioritizes the people who are immediately present and relevant to your current survival, forcing distant friendships to naturally fade out of focus. People also evolve. As we age, our daily habits shift, our goals sharpen, and the values that guide our decisions change. Psychologists refer to this as a value shift, and it naturally splinters our priorities. You might become laser-focused on climbing the corporate ladder, while your oldest friend pours all their energy into starting a family. The roles you used to play for each other, the late-night listener, the drinking buddy, the study partner, simply aren't required anymore. This creates an immediate effort imbalance. One person usually stops reaching out because the emotional needs they once relied on the friendship to fulfill are no longer being met. The dynamic becomes exhausting rather than comforting. We tend to view this distancing as a betrayal, but it rarely comes from a place of malice. People drift apart because the precise alignment of interests and environments that first sparked the connection no longer exists. We need to rethink how we measure the success of our relationships. If a friendship ends, it does not mean it failed. It means that particular chapter of your life successfully reached its conclusion. Look at this structure. The incredibly rare bonds that actually survive over decades require 3 active pillars: mutual respect, intentional effort, and deeply shared core values. They do not run on the autopilot of passive convenience. The pain we feel when a friendship fades is often a trap of nostalgia. We hold on to a frozen memory of a person who no longer exists, while we ourselves have grown into entirely different people. Curious, reflective tone. Ask yourself, are you actually missing that specific friend, or are you just missing the convenience of that time and the version of yourself you were when you knew them? Temporary friendships are vital. Some people enter your life strictly as catalysts. They arrive exactly when you need them to help you survive a brutal job, teach you a difficult lesson, or show you a new part of your own identity. Friendship is not a promise of permanence. It is a passage. Letting go of the people who no longer fit into your daily life is not a sign of weakness. It is the clearest proof that you are continuing to grow.